Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. This one is pretty much recorded live as we see the Middle Eastern conflict essentially start to affect private banking matters. I've seen the effects myself personally. We have clients who were unable to transfer using their UAE accounts, getting pretty serious over there, and now we've actually had a massive inflow. I've been clearing WhatsApps for 3 days now. As people essentially look to diversify their banking solutions around the world, they then realize, hey, I don't need these private banking solutions in Monaco or Switzerland, for example. My UAE accounts are fantastic. Now they've essentially gone and realized that this is actually not the case. Okay, so this is currently being recorded on the 5th of March. Not sure when I'll be posting this video, but as you know, the current situation, Iran, Israel, the US, the Gulf regions, we're looking at Bahrain, Qatar. You've seen the news. I don't need to go over the news. It's actually pretty serious right now. And again, what's actually happened in Dubai is very scary, especially with over 600 drone attacks, over 150 missiles as well, which is, a lot of the defense systems are fantastic. A lot of clients are based in Dubai, as you can imagine. I used to be based there. And I obviously wish him for the fantastic succession and continuing to defend the region. And again, it just illustrates my points I've always mentioned earlier by being diversified and really thinking about the geopolitics around the world. Okay, so what's actually happened here is there was a market closure. Number one, there's been digital banking outages, being unable to log into the app. Again, there's also been a massive SIM swap and fraud surge. So the actual Dubai police issued a warning about the fraudsters impersonating officers to try and steal the UAE pass credentials, Emirates ID details, enabling SIM swap attacks on mobile banking. Again, this has been an heightened risk. A lot of people haven't seen it, but I have actually heard about this in the news. And again, the capital markets has essentially been a reprice. The case of the NBD is down 5%. And again, MR and Aldar have also gone and flagged major downside risks within property markets. As you know, Dubai is a very hot property market, and again, it was an emerging market. It's up hundreds and hundreds of percent year after year, essentially speaking. Some fantastic deals you can obviously get involved with on the seller side and the buyer side, which is always good for business. But right now, we are seeing that being hit again. That goes back to the point of having your investments diversified around the world. But what this video is about all today is the banking risks. Right now, we've had first Abu Dhabi Bank, we've had Emirates NDB, we've had ADCB Bank, and again, this is all disruptions. It was up until about 3 or 4 day disruptions on the actual mobile banking services, phone banking services, and that was linked to the Amazon Web Services data center. Again, we also saw Claude by Anthropic, I think it's called, which we all use. That was also having a massive slowdown for anyone involved, especially on Claude Code, and they're used to using this to improve their software, XYZ. We saw massive outages right there. So again, clients were unable to access accounts, execute transfers, and even contact banks during this conflict. Okay? And the conflict is still going on. Yes, banking's come back online, but it's the principle here when you're sat on 6 million AED, even 600,000 AED sat in your account, and you can't transfer your loved ones, you can't pay for business services. This is a problem. Okay, so let's actually scroll down this document I've got made here. And again, why it is a bit of a structural problem. And again, why it's always a single point of failure. Okay, so the actual disruption to the banking system is not a temporary shock now. Okay, it's a very vulnerable place where people have got very scared, and it could potentially cause a run on those banks. Again, as reports, I'm not going to mention names of clients who own billion-dollar businesses and who are involved in huge-scale entrepreneurship, and they were actually at the cash machine and it rejected their cards. Okay, so they were unable to get cash from the banks. Again, Dubai is a very geopolitical neutral place, and we've actually proven that it is now not. Also, we might see concerns of sanctions due to Iranian money being in Dubai. Okay, So that could also be a potential risk that we can see on moving forward. But let's really focus on what the solutions are, not the negatives, what the solutions are, what you can obviously do. If this is the first time you've been meeting me, I'm Will from HPT Group. I also own a fintech. I also own a software business. I'm pretty much a global entrepreneur who, again, has lived in Dubai, lived in Thailand, lived in Gibraltar, lived in Switzerland, lived in the United Kingdom, as well as the Netherlands. And again, currently in Antigua on a tax regime here. It's very beneficial to myself and my mass traveling due to business reasons, right? So when we look at banking, typically those people who are like, oh, Dubai banks are fine for me, they're the best in the world. Well, they're not. Okay, and we've just got to see this live here. You want to be banking in typically now Singapore. Switzerland, Liechtenstein's actually worse than Switzerland, but Liechtenstein's a fantastic contender. Cayman Islands, Georgia's great for keeping that extra 50k for emergency right there. Hong Kong, obviously fantastic. Mauritius and Monaco. I've got some fantastic relationships. I've been working very closely. Yesterday, I spent my day essentially on meetings in Monaco. Okay. And again, it's usually 3 million deposit. This is obviously an AI generated document. 3 million actual deposit, but it's a very neutral place. Monaco is, okay, as long as your residence is essentially in Europe or even in UAE or in a tier 2 or tier 1 unsanctioned country, you have the option of banking in Monaco. And again, it is fantastic if you can then get a residence permit there as well. Could be a good option for you to move to. Not for all clients, such as myself. I don't have 500k I can just hold in a bank account or 3 million to even deposit, right? And that's how you get the residence permits. But again, it is great for some people who do obviously have that net worth, right? So again, as you know, Monaco, I don't need to explain Monaco, but you basically got a lot of fantastic banking institutions. It's over 726 years old is the banking secrecy laws there. Really good choices for banking, really, really safe, We used to speak about London and banking. We don't know more. There's reasons for that, not just because the economy is failing, but generally as well, because there is the compliance asks are quite frankly ridiculous right now. And that's obviously not due to the banks. That's just due to pressure on them from the regulators at the FCA and also just general OECD push to combat the money laundering situation over in London, as I do believe it is still the number one place to be moving money. Okay, which obviously isn't good news for these people who bank in London, for example. There's whoring, Coots, there's a pile of shit. But, for these compliance risks, people are making multiple companies there because they're even scared to keep more than £2 to £3 million within one bank, such as Barclays, which is a nice high street bank. We've also got NatWest. People are going to those, Channel Islands, such as NatWest International, HSBC Jersey. Could be fantastic places you want to entertain that aren't actually on this document here. But again, you want to look at a jurisdictional banking diversification strategy. That is probably one of the best things you can do. So as well as you diversify your asset classes around the world in terms of your investment strategies, also you probably also do the same with properties, also passports. It's exactly the same principles, and the same principles apply to banking. So again, you've also got crypto nowadays. Okay, can you accept crypto payments through your current banks? That is a good question. We are moving into a stablecoin tokenized environment, as you probably are already aware. But at the end of the day here, the best case for European banking, it is Monaco. Again, we do love UBS in Switzerland. There's a few other great private banks in Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Andorra, not really too well known, Luxembourg, not really too well known nowadays. Again, these are EU countries. Andorra is not EU. Liechtenstein's not EU. Monaco is a principality as such, right? But again, you want a institution based out of the place which you live in. And this is to basically diversify your geopolitical risks. So you can read this document in front of you. I'm not going to be reading it out. But again, you need a safer alternative to UAE. Those people who are actually banking in UAE right now will know exactly what I'm on about. You don't need to explain it. And again, that's why I'm making this video today. So you guys can obviously reach out to me. We can explore those banking solutions for you, make those introductions, whether it's for corporate banking, personal banking, XYZ. But, if you've got the funds, then essentially you should be diversified between Monaco, Switzerland, Singapore. I was on the phone last week with Citibank over in Singapore. The min deposit over there is around 400k. EFG in Monaco is €3 million, but again, there's these investment products that you would be investing in. And depending on your risk tolerance, depending on what products you like, these banks obviously offer you that one there. So it's not just kept in a bank account, right? It's obviously kept within fund management solutions, which could be very nice to be diversified. And a lot of people don't realize, like, let's say, for example, you invest in a United States fund, then you're actually domiciled in US dollars. So you also have the currency risk of this one right here. Let's say, for example, Scotia or just Scotia in Canada, right? If you invest in those products there, you're also domiciled in Canadian dollars. Yes, this could be a good thing with higher oil prices right now. But when oil prices come back down in the near-term future, you also have that currency risk there as well. So the same with UAE, the currency risk right there. If everyone starts selling properties, everyone starts selling the stock market, obviously they have put protective measures on this. There's a bit of a selling pressure of the currency that is now exposed to that currency risk as well. Yes, you can have multi-currency accounts, but generally in the investment product world, you would be domiciled in that local currency within those investments, okay? So we can see here, key takeaway, Switzerland remains a very neutral country and fantastic for banking. Monaco, you would have to add to that list as well. And I definitely recommend those Asian counterparties, whether it's Hong Kong or Singapore, DBS Singapore, fantastic one, or City Singapore, another great solution for a slightly lower deposit as well. And at the end of the day, this video is all about diversifying your banking risk. I think it's very important and a really important message to put out here today, live on the 5th of March. I was thinking about recording this video 2 days ago. I've been so busy, I did not have a chance to. But hopefully that's quite a nice, simple video for you guys. If you want this document or you want any more help, you can email me at will@hpt.group. And you can obviously fill out the section 4B4 below if you would like to actually apply to become a client. Other than that, guys, over and out, and I'll see you in the next video.